is Howard Klein. I'm from Riverside. The subject is on October 31st, Tanya Clavey, my niece, passed away up there. Was killed up on the mountain there when a car with 3 other individuals went over the edge. And the concerns that I'm concerned with are 3 things: the time that the park is open, and the access and lighting conditions, the road conditions, and the guardrail disrepair that is up there. And I brought some of the pictures of, I'd like to submit. A few of those pictures are pictures of Tanya when she was alive. A happy, young, vivacious young individual. Had a lot to look forward to. And her life was cut short just because of an accident.
How old was she?
She was 16 years old. There are pictures in there of the guardrails that are, just a few of them. There are quite a few more that are down in that area that need to be repaired. I think if you take a look at all the various different pictures of the conditions of those guardrails, those are not in great condition. To my understanding, the guardrail that they went through was also in disrepair at the time. It was called by a lot of the teenagers rainbow guardrail because it was arched at an angle. So really, with them hitting it, I don't believe that it would have stopped them from going over the edge, and it didn't. What I'd like to see come about tonight is 3 things. You have a war on drugs in your community, and what I'd like to see is, when I was up there a few Sundays ago, I witnessed several free drinking going on the side of the road. Squad cars passing by with not even a care in the world to pull over to see if, to really observe this action going on. People driving down the hill at high rates of speed, crossing over the line, where bicyclists are coming down the hill also going over 20 miles an hour, but that's, you can't really adjust your speed on a bicycle, I don't think, too well. But as you're coming down around the curve there are people crossing the road and coming right in your way. There's the 3 things I'd like to see done is have the hours and the gate being maintained there. The gate, from my understanding with several of the local teenagers in the area, have indicated that the gate and the locks on this gate are not even on them half the time at nighttime. At 10 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning, you can go up there and push the gate wide open. And if there was a lock on it, shortly afterwards, there is no lock on it. Okay, so and having enough patrol there to maintain that mountain when it is closed and when it's open should be enforced. Now, I've spoken to the Arcadia City Council, the Sierra Madre, and now I'm speaking with the Monrovia. We have to address two other factions, is the Department of Forestry and the county, and of course that will come at another meeting date. What I'd like to see is all these agencies get together, sit down with all the concerned individuals of the surrounding communities, and work on a solution to the gate closure problem, the guardrail, which to my understanding, Caltrans has plenty of money to allocate to that funding. I realize that each particular guardrail is in a different jurisdiction, but everybody needs to work together in order to make that road safer so your community has no more deaths. And what I'd like to see happen is the different community councils get together with I and several other people that are interested in also this subject and work together on a solution. I think this is to make your roads safer and to have no more deaths of your children or children's or even adults up there.
I agree. I've
and,
driven that road
and I
a lot.
believe that the drinking that's going on up there, that, you know, if you go up there on any time, just go up there, you'll see what I'm talking about. But if people are getting up there even after the hour of closure, and there's no lighting on that road, there's limited reflectors in that area. If you go up there,
it's a dangerous road.
It's It's very tight. It's very tight and very deceiving. Even during the day, coming down that hill it's tight.
All mountain roads are, though, pretty dangerous. If you exceed the speed limit, they're dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Was your niece there after the hours?
It would happen to be that she was up there at 10 o'clock when they were told to leave by the park services. They proceeded down the hill, and that's when the accident happened.
Oh, gosh. So needless.
And as you can see, she was,
Beautiful girl,
and had a lot to live for, and just a great young lady. And what I'd like to see is some changes. And if we could, I don't know if you've been contacted yet by the Arcadia City Council or the Sierra Madre. They said that they were going to do a tri-city letter trying to band everybody together to organize a meeting. And I'd like to see if this council would also address those other entities, which would be the Department of Forestry, the county, the Arcadia, Sierra Madre, and also Monrovia will all partake.
Let me say we received a letter from the city of Arcadia just the latter part of last week. To my knowledge, we haven't heard from Sierra Madre.
Okay, I addressed them last Tuesday, and I'd like to set up a meeting to where we all can get together and solve this problem together to make your roads, your city, in that particular area safer for everyone else.
Thank you very much for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Patty Brown. I live at 9312 Broadway in Temple City, and I'm here with Howard. This was Tanya before she was killed, before her neck was broken, and before her face was smashed, unrecognizable. I don't want this to happen to any more of our young people. We need to do something. We need to get through all the red tape. This happened 5 weeks ago today. Yesterday, excuse me. 5 weeks ago today. Just do what you have to do to make it safer, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Zimmerman's my name. I live at 48 Woodland Lane, Bradbury. I'm the stepfather of Garrett, who was in the rear seat with Tanya when the car went over the hill in Chantry Flats. Garrett had a contusion to the brain, was unconscious for some time at Huntington Memorial Hospital. He surprised the doctors, though, miraculously. He's up and out, and he went to his first party this last Saturday, so how do you explain it? He wanted to come back, and he did. I want to give special thanks to the paramedics, the police department, the fire department, Sierra Madre rescue team. They literally saved his life. The reports that I've got from a number of sources is he was barely breathing when they found him. And the treatment that they give him on site, intravenous, the first aid, the first class medical treatment, saved his life and brought him off that mountain. Some of the things I'd like to talk about tonight are the conditions of the road at Chantry Flats, some of the history that I'm sure that most of you are familiar with. I, as a teenager, went up there too, and the road's been there for some 60 years, I guess, in the condition it is today. Those guardrails are the original guardrails. I understand in the 1970s they did put in some stone walls higher up. The road, you're correct, the road is primarily in the jurisdiction of Arcadia and Sierra Madre. Sierra Madre controls the gate closure, but the history is such that the corners up there are numbered. And the reason for that is that there are so many incidents, they want to take and be able to identify the particular jurisdiction so they can respond quickly. And this was at corner number 17 where the car went over the road. In many cases, the driver can take 75% of those curves very quickly, and he gets a false sense of security. And unfortunately, the incompetence of the driver, he loses it. He's surprised, curve 17, 13, whatever it may be, and he's in trouble, and he's through the guardrail. I looked up some statistics, and you're correct in the danger of the hill, you know, but to really put it in perspective, the most dangerous road in the California highway system, I understand, is the Harbor Freeway through downtown Los Angeles, about 3-mile stretch. 6 people a year that kill there. I quickly went through some numbers and estimated a ratio of the Harbor Freeway to Chantry Flats, 20,000 passenger miles to 1. 20,000 more people per individual goes to Chantry Flats on a single day on the ratio. In many years, we've killed 6 people, or 6 people have been killed in Chantry Flats. And I happened to go through one of the news articles, and I'll read this to you because this was published recently in a local newspaper. Bill Hall, a resident who lives near where the car hit the bottom of the canyon, he was quoted as saying this: "I've lived at the bottom of the canyon for about 25 years, and about a dozen cars have plunged over the side. I've heard it so many times before. It's unmistakable. The sound of crushing metal rolling down the mountainside. I heard the screams and yelling." That's just in one section of curve 17. And I can't believe how many people I've talked to recently, because the names have been in the newspapers, and my wife's in real estate. We have high visibility in the community. How many people have told stories about people they know for the last 20, 30, 40 years of acquaintances who've gone over the side of Chantry Flats? Now, Caltrans, with the local communities, and I guess funded through the federal government, have done an analysis of the guardrails of the 60-year-old vintage. And literally, the guardrails are spring type. They have an S-beam. And when you strike the rail, the thing that fails is the S-beam, and it goes quick. Beyond that, so many cars have gone over the cliff. So with technology today on roadways, they have what they call, lack of a better term, a W-beam. You see these on the freeways. And these cars don't go across the freeways and get in the opposite traffic anymore. They contain them. And that's the kind of guardrails I understand they're proposing for Chantry Flats. You know, when somebody hits that guardrail, he's going to have a hard time going over the cliff. Now, that was funded, I understand, some 12 months ago. And again, I'm hearing this from individuals from Caltrans and the Director of Public Works in the local communities. That funding is good for 16 months. And I understand it runs out in April of next year. And to the best of my knowledge, none of the communities have coordinated for this replacement of the guardrails, and they have about 4 months to go. So it's my understanding that before April of next year, some action has to be taken by the communities which have jurisdiction to implement the replacement of those guardrails. Because, you know, I assure you, if those funds expire and another European-type sports car goes around a corner and the driver loses it and hits the guardrail and the S-beam goes, there's a good possibility that Mr. Hall, again, will hear the crushing metal, like he's heard so many times, coming down the canyon to near his backyard. I certainly appreciate your attention. I know you have the greatest of concern, and thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.